All right, so have you ever, like, completely blanked on someone's name?
Oh, yeah,
It's the worst.
it is.
You're, like, racking your brain, and all you can come up with is "you."
The dreaded you.
It's so awkward.
Yeah, you just feel terrible.
Yeah.
Um,
And, it's, like, not the best way to make a connection with someone when you can't even remember their name.
Definitely not a good first impression.
Right. So today, we are going deep on the science of name recall.
I love it.
We're going to figure out why names are so slippery for our brains.
Yeah, because it really is amazing how bad we are at it sometimes.
It's true.
Like, you think about all the other things we can remember,
Yeah.
but names, it's just like,
It's almost like they go in one ear and out the other.
exactly.
And then the big question is, how can we actually get better at remembering them?
Yes, because it's a skill you can learn.
Exactly.
It's not just something you're either good at or bad at.
Right. So no more excuses.
Exactly.
All right. So first of all,
Yeah.
why are names so difficult to remember in the first place?
Well, you see, names are kind of a paradox for our brains.
Okay.
We're wired to seek patterns and meaning, right?
Mm.
We like things to make sense.
Right.
But names are essentially arbitrary labels.
That's a good point.
They don't really mean anything.
Mm.
Think about it like the word apple.
Oh.
You say apple, everyone pictures an apple.
Red or green?
Oh, good question. Maybe a Granny Smith.
Oh, okay. I like those.
Yeah, me too. But the point is, we have that instant image.
Yeah.
But Brenda
Yeah.
could be anyone.
True.
That lack of inherent meaning makes it harder for our brains to encode the information.
Brenda could be short, tall, have brown hair, blonde hair.
Exactly. Could be a lawyer, could be a llama farmer.
Okay, now I'm picturing Brenda the llama farmer.
See, our brains want to create those images and stories.
It's true.
But with names, we don't have those automatic hooks.
It's like our brains are going, wait, what am I supposed to do with this random sound?
Exactly.
Okay, so that's one challenge. But then there's also like the whole multiple parts thing.
Oh, yeah. The first name, last name?
Sometimes even middle names.
Oh, yeah. You get the triple whammy.
Right, and it's like our brains are trying to juggle a mini family tree
I like that analogy.
for every single person we meet.
It's a lot of information to process,
It really is.
especially when you consider everything else that's going on during a typical introduction.
Oh, yeah, you're trying to make a good impression. You're trying to read social cues.
You're thinking about what to say next. Maybe you're even a little nervous.
So much is happening. It's no wonder the name itself gets lost in the shuffle.
Exactly.
And that's not even considering people who have face blindness.
Right, prosopagnosia.
Yeah, where they have trouble recognizing faces.
It can make this whole thing so much more challenging.
Yeah, for sure.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
Despite all these neurological hurdles, remembering names is so important.
Okay, I think most of us focus on like the embarrassment factor. Like, oh, I don't want to feel awkward, but you're saying there's more to it.
Way more.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Remembering and using someone's name is honestly like a secret weapon for building relationships.
Okay.
Think about it. It signals respect. It makes people feel seen and valued.
Yeah, like you're actually paying attention to them.
Exactly.
Not just like, hey, you.
Right. It says you matter enough for me to remember.
It's like giving them a personalized gift.
I love that because it really is a gift.
Right, and it shows you're genuinely interested in them.
Absolutely. Think about the time someone has remembered your name.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
How did it make you feel?
honestly, it makes me feel like $1,000,000. It
Yeah,
makes me feel like I really matter to them, like I stand out.
Exactly. And that feeling, that sense of being valued, it's incredibly powerful.
It really is.
It builds trust. It lays the foundation for a stronger connection.
So it's not just about smooth socializing.
No.
This is about like building deeper
In
connections.
every area of your life.
Oh, wow.
Think about it. Professionally, personally, even just casual encounters.
Yeah, I never really thought about it that way.
It can be a game changer.
Okay, I'm sold.
Ah,
But how do we actually get better at this?
well, the good news is
Okay.
there's some surprisingly simple yet effective strategies,
Lay 'em on me. I'm ready.
and they all tap into how our brains are actually wired to learn and remember.
Okay, perfect. Let's rewire my brain.
Let's do it.
All right, so what's the first step?
One of the most fundamental techniques, and this is backed by a ton of research,
Okay.
is repetition.
Repetition, like just saying the name over and over again.
Not exactly. It's about spaced repetition.
Spaced repetition. I've heard that for language learning.
It works for everything. It's
Okay.
all about timing.
Oh.
So instead of just repeating the name right after you hear it,
Mm-hmm.
try incorporating it into the conversation naturally.
Okay.
So Sarah, What are you thinking about all this?
Okay.
And then maybe mention it again later, like, that's a great point, Sarah.
Gotcha.
Every time you bring that name back up.
You're like hitting the save button.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're strengthening those connections in your brain.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Instead of just hoping it sticks on the first try.
Yeah, because our brains are busy.
Right.
We need those reminders.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And here's another thing.
Yeah.
What if you meet someone with a really, unique name?
Oh, yeah. Or hard to pronounce.
Exactly.
What do you do?
Don't be afraid to ask them to repeat it.
Oh, really?
Just say something like, I want to make sure I'm getting your name right. Could you repeat that for me?
That takes the pressure off.
Right. And most people really appreciate it.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, thank you for caring enough to get it right.
Exactly. It shows you're genuinely interested in them.
It turns that potentially awkward moment into a moment of connection.
Exactly. And that connection is key.
Because...
Our brains remember things better when there's an emotional impact.
Wait a minute. Emotions play a role in remembering names.
Yep.
Okay, I would love to hear more about that.
Think about it like this.
Okay.
Do you remember the names of people who've had a big impact on your life?
Oh, yeah.
Positive or negative?
Oh, definitely. Especially the negative ones. Just kidding. But you're right. Those names are unforgettable because of the emotions tied to them. It's like those emotional connections are anchors in our memory.
I love that, anchors.
Right. So how do we use that to our advantage when meeting new people?
Okay, so when you meet someone new,
Yeah.
try to find something about them that sparks even a little emotional response.
Okay, so instead of just like passively hearing their name,
Right.
I'm actively trying to connect with them on some level.
Yes. Even a small connection.
It's like I'm turning my brain into a detective searching for clues to make this name memorable.
I love it. You're a name detective. And guess what?
What?
Your detective kit comes with another powerful tool.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is it?
Associate.
Association. Like what?
Okay, so try to create a vivid, even a little outlandish image in your mind that connects to the person's name.
So if I meet a Mark,
Yeah.
and he has this incredible handlebar mustache,
Okay, I like where this is going.
I might picture him as like, well, with the majestic mustache.
Perfect. And maybe he's riding a unicycle. Why not?
Okay, yes. Wearing a top hat.
Yes. See, the sillier the better.
Okay.
Our brains remember things that are unusual or funny.
So it's like playing a little mental game.
Exactly. It makes it fun, and it works.
This is great. I think I'm actually starting to enjoy this whole name game thing.
Me too. And the more you do it, the easier it gets.
So we're basically rewiring our brains to be more creative
Exactly.
and more engaged.
It's all about making those connections.
This is amazing. It's like we're taking control of our memory.
Exactly. And it's just the beginning.
Wait, there's more.
Oh, yeah. We've got a lot more ground to cover on this name game journey.
Okay, I'm ready for round 2.
Let's do it.
All right, so we've talked about how introductions can be a little overwhelming. There's so much going on.
Right? Like you're trying to process all these things at once.
Yeah, you're meeting someone new. You're trying to remember their name.
And make a good impression.
You're reading their body language.
All those social cues.
It's a lot.
It really is.
And then somewhere in that shuffle, the name just gets lost.
Exactly. It's like trying to listen to a podcast while reading a book and texting a friend.
Oh, yeah, you're not going to absorb much of anything.
Something's got to give, right?
Right, so how do we make sure the name doesn't get lost in all that?
Well, one really effective strategy is just being present.
Okay, so like being in the moment.
Exactly. Shifting your focus.
But how do we actually do that? Like in our crazy busy world with all these distractions.
It starts with minimizing those distractions.
Okay, so put away the phone.
Put the phone away.
Make eye contact.
Yes, eye contact is huge.
And really focus on the person.
Really tune in.
Okay, I like
Listen to their voice.
Yeah, observe their expressions.
Pay attention to their energy.
So it's like hitting the pause button on everything else.
Yeah, just for a moment.
And giving your full attention to that person.
And when you do that,
What?
you're not just more likely to remember their name,
Okay,
but
cool.
you're also showing them that they matter.
Yeah, that they're worthy of your attention.
Exactly.
And we've all been on the other side of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
When you can tell someone's not really listening.
Yeah, they're half checking their phone or something.
It doesn't feel good.
No, it makes you feel invisible.
Right, and it kind of shuts down the connection.
But when someone is really present with you,
It changes everything.
it creates a sense of connection.
Respect.
Uh.
Trust.
So it's not just a memory hack.
It's so much more.
It's a social skill.
It's about how we connect with each other.
This is great. I love this.
Right.
Okay, so we talked about being present, and you also mentioned how our brains are wired to remember things that are emotionally engaging.
So how do we tie that into remembering names?
Well, think about it. What names do you remember most easily?
Hmm.
I bet they're linked to strong emotions, right?
Yeah, like your childhood best friend,
Exactly.
your first crush,
Yes, or maybe
a teacher who really inspired you.
those names are etched into your memory because of the emotions and experiences associated with them.
Yeah, it's like the emotions create these anchors.
Anchors, I love it. We're back to the anchor.
Right, that help those names stay put in our mind.
Exactly. So when you meet someone new, try to find something, anything, that sparks a little emotional response.
So if someone tells me they're rescuing stray animals, I might feel a surge of admiration.
There you go.
Or if someone mentions they love the same obscure band I do, I might feel a sense of camaraderie.
Perfect. So you're already doing it. Even a small spark of emotion can make a difference.
Because it helps create a stronger connection to the name.
Exactly. You're essentially weaving their name into this tapestry of feelings and associations.
This is fascinating. So we're turning our brains into little emotional detectives. We're searching for clues to help us remember.
I love that. You're really getting this. Now, ready for another detective tool?
Yes. Lay it on me. What's the next clue?
Okay, so our brains love patterns and connections.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing you can try is linking a new name to someone you already know.
Oh, I do this all the time. If I meet a Daniel who reminds me of my friend Dan, I'll make that connection in my mind.
See, you're already a pro. It's a simple trick, but it works. Our brains are always looking for shortcuts.
It's like building a web of interconnected names in our minds.
Exactly. And the more connections we make, the stronger that web becomes.
So the key is to get creative with our associations.
Absolutely. Think about their profession, their hobbies, anything unique about them.
Okay, so like if I meet a David who's a musician, I might imagine him conducting an orchestra.
I love it.
With each instrument representing like a different part of his personality.
Perfect. Or if you meet a Sophia who loves to travel, you could picture her exploring ancient ruins with each stone whispering her name.
I love it. The more outlandish and personalized, the better I remember it.
Exactly. And the best part is, your brain gets better at making these connections the more you practice.
It's like we're retraining our brains to be more attentive and creative. This is amazing.
Yeah.
But let's be real, even with all these strategies,
Yeah.
there are going to be times when our brains just blank.
Oh, absolutely.
We forget the name.
It happens to everyone.
So what's the best way to handle those slip-ups?
You know, I think honesty is always the best policy.
Okay.
If you forget someone's name, just own up to it.
So don't try to pretend like I know their name when I don't.
No, just apologize and ask them to remind you.
Okay.
Just say something like, "I'm so sorry, your name has completely slipped my mind. Would you mind reminding me?"
That feels so much better than trying to cover it up.
Right?
It feels more authentic and respectful.
And you know what? Most people are really understanding.
Yeah, we've all been there.
We've all blanked on a name before.
It's a human moment.
Exactly. And sometimes those moments, they actually create a connection.
Yeah, it shows you're not afraid to be vulnerable.
Exactly.
Okay, this is great.
So how are you feeling about all this?
I feel like we've covered so much already.
We have. It's amazing how something as simple as remembering names can be so complex
Right.
and so important.
It's not just about avoiding awkwardness.
It's about connection. It's about respect.
What's about showing people that they matter?
Exactly. And the more you practice these skills, the more natural they'll become.
This is so inspiring. I feel like I've already leveled up my social skills.
I have no doubt you have. It's like exercising a muscle.
Right. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly. But for now, let's take a little break and let all this soak in.
That's a great idea. I need a minute to process.
We'll be back with even more mind-blowing strategies to help you conquer the name game once and for all.
All right, so we're back and ready for the final round of our name game boot camp. What else have you got for us?
Well, you know how they say practice makes perfect? Well, that couldn't be more true for remembering names.
So it's not a one-time fix.
No.
It's like an ongoing thing.
Yeah, it's like a commitment.
Challenge accepted. But how can I make practicing more fun?
Ooh, I like that attitude. Turn it into a game.
Okay, yeah.
Challenge yourself to remember the names of everyone you interact with.
Oh, so like just in my daily life.
Exactly. From the barista at your coffee shop
Okay.
to the cashier at the grocery store.
Oh, I like it.
See how many names you can recall at the end of the day.
Okay.
It's like turning everyday life into a name-remembering obstacle course.
I can see myself like confidently greeting everyone by name as I go about my day.
See, you're getting it. And the more you practice, the more automatic it becomes.
So it's like learning to ride a bike.
Exactly. At first, you're wobbly and unsure,
Right.
but with practice, it becomes second nature.
I like that analogy. So
Yeah.
we're training our brains to naturally seek out and retain those names?
There's-
Okay, so that's for everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
But what about more challenging situations?
Oh, you mean like,
Like a busy workplace?
oh, yeah,
Or like a networking event?
lots of new faces, lots of names to remember.
Exactly.
One technique I find really helpful for those situations
Okay.
is creating what I call a name map.
A name map.
Okay, I've never heard of that.
It's really simple.
Okay.
Basically, imagine a visual representation of the space,
Okay.
like your workplace.
Okay.
And then picture each person's name positioned where they typically sit or work.
Oh, so like if I'm picturing my office,
Yeah.
my coworker John sits by the window,
Okay.
and my manager Lisa is in her office down the hall.
You got it. You're creating a mental GPS for names,
Oh, I love it.
linking those names to their physical location.
This is brilliant.
And the best part is, you
Wow.
can apply it to any environment.
Oh,
Think about your favorite restaurant
okay. Yeah.
or the layout of your gym
Mhm.
as you interact with people in those spaces.
Yeah. Create those mental maps.
Okay, I'm going to start doing this everywhere I go. My brain is going to be so organized.
Right. It's like a superpower. But, you know, even with all these amazing tools,
Yeah.
we're all human.
Mm-hmm.
There will be times when we just blank.
Oh, yeah, for
It
sure.
happens to everyone.
So what do we do when we completely forget someone's name? Like, is there any saving that situation?
You know, the best thing you can do is just be honest.
Okay, so just admit it.
Yeah. Just own up to it.
Okay.
Don't try to dance around it.
Because that's when it gets really awkward.
Exactly. Just apologize and ask them to remind you.
So, like, I'm so sorry your name has totally slipped my mind. Would you mind reminding me?
Perfect. That's all it takes.
That feels so much better than trying to fake it.
Right. It's authentic. It's respectful.
And honestly, most people are really understanding about it.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
We've all had those brain fart moments.
Exactly.
So what's the big takeaway here? What have we learned from all this?
You know, it's amazing how something as simple as remembering a name can have such a huge impact on our relationships.
It really is.
It's not just about etiquette.
It's deeper than that.
It's about how we value the people around us.
It's about making them feel seen.
Exactly. Every interaction is an opportunity to make someone feel appreciated.
It's like we're spreading a little bit of kindness and positivity, one name at a time.
I love that.
Yeah.
And, you know, as you continue practicing these techniques, think about how they're changing your interactions.
Yeah, how I'm making people feel.
What kind of connections are you building?
This has been so eye-opening. It's incredible how much we can learn from something as simple as remembering names.
He really is.
To everyone listening, I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive as much as I have. I encourage you to try these techniques out, have some fun with it, and see how it impacts your relationships and your confidence.
And remember, be kind to yourself.
Mm.
We all forget names sometimes. The important thing is to keep learning, keep practicing, and keep connecting with people around you.
Beautifully said. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey of name game mastery. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the fascinating world of human behavior.